Hi, my name's Jake. Welcome to Jake's Beer Roulette. We've got a really interesting one tonight, I'm hoping. You have to say, one of the success stories in British beer over the last decade, an absolutely runaway success, has been this stuff, Madri Exceptional. Now, for me personally, I don't like it. But a friend of mine in work said to me the other day, is that because you know his background? I was like, well, maybe I need to give it another go. It's incredibly popular. The reason why I don't like it is I don't think it's very nice, but also it's marketed as being, I mean, the phrase on the bottom here in Spanish translates as the soul of Madrid. This beer is nothing to do with Madrid. It's marketed as a Spanish beer. It's actually brewed up north somewhere. I've read Tadcaster, I've read somewhere else, but it's just a real work of genius as far as marketing goes. Well, as such, the discount supermarkets Lidl and Aldi have realised that stuff's been flying off the shelf, so they've done their own versions. Lidl have done Sabre, and Aldi have done Grand, and each of these is also flying off the shelves. Whenever you go into Lidl or Aldi, take a look. You never see a full shelf of it. There's usually, half gone. It is absolutely making a killing as well. The thing is, and here's where we need to really look at this in some detail. £2.75 for a 660ml bottle from Sainsbury's. I got this. You can probably get it cheaper than that, but £2.75. The bottle from Aldi, their Grand, is £1.75 for a 660ml bottle. And the Sabre, you get 4 cans of it from Lidl for £4.99. If you do the maths, that works out. If you've got 660ml of this, that works out of £1.65. So it works most expensive, cheapest by cheaper, by £1, and then cheapest is Sabre. All of these beers are 4.6%. But the main difference between Madri, brewed in the UK, Sabre, brewed in Spain, Grand, brewed in Spain. So where Aldi and Lidl have gone a step further than Madri, they're actually selling Spanish beer. Whereas Madri is being sold, I think it's Molson Coors, it's being sold as a Spanish beer, but it isn't. It's British. It's just got nice design. It's excellent, you have to say, insofar as the presentation, checked bottle cap. And to that end, Grand, I mean, it is a bit spot the difference because they are clearly, and I mean, the the Lidl one is even more like Madri. However, the can has got kind of like a texture to it in terms of the patterning. This is the nicest of the lot, I think. Anyway, I will save you the boredom of watching me pour them out. I'll pour them out and let's get stuck into them. Okay, you'll note from the pour, they're all very similar looking beers, although the Madri is holding on to a bit of head. There's a bit of head on the Lidl Sabre. The Aldi Grand isn't retaining a head. It's really important to point out that these glasses are almost identical. None of them have an etching on them. The beers came out the fridge at the same temperature at the same time. So they should be, I'm giving them the best chance against each other. The way I intend doing this, I'm going to try the Madri first. Then I'm going to work my way back towards it. And then I'm going to go for the Madri last. Because after all, that's why we're here, is to assess Madri and whether the two rip-off Madris from Lidl and Aldi are as good as, if not maybe better. Like I say, with Madri, when I've had it before, I haven't been a fan, but I want to give it another go. My friend in work was quite right. because you do have a kind of like a subconscious bias to these things, particularly if something's marketing itself as a Spanish beer and it clearly isn't. And as a beer fan, that kind of like rankles a bit. But if the beer was any good, then it wouldn't rankle, would it? Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? So it looks good. I have to say, it looks really good. It's really nicely carbonated. It's got a head. It's a bit of lacing on the glass. And it smells of sweet malt. But there is something musty about it. There's something, and I explained this when I was describing it to my pal in work, that it's got the smell to me as if someone's opened a wardrobe for the first time in a few months. It's that kind of like musty edge to it. And it's definitely there. You know, I know subconscious bias and everything, but it does smell musty. But it doesn't smell off. It doesn't smell revolting. And plenty of people, I mean, millions of people like Madri. So who am I to argue? Here's to your good health. Oh man alive, that is truly awful. I mean, I wanted to give it a fair crack of the whip. It does have a bitter finish. I will give it that. It just tastes so cheap. It's really difficult to describe. Oh God. And the aftertaste. It's cheap. It is dirt cheap. Um, it tastes astringent, so it tastes like they haven't used proper hops in it, that they're using hop oil. It tastes, even though it smells sweet, it tastes like there's been some artificial sweetener in this. Initially, the mouthfeel is light, and it just goes all wrong. The aftertaste is horrible. It's that stale, dusty, musty taste. I will drink the Lidl version now. Let's see what we get from that. There's less of an aroma than the Madri gives you. You don't get such a sweet smell, but it does smell fresh. Not so much of a kind of like sweet malty smell coming through, but it smells fresh. It smells zesty. I'm picking up a little bit of lime, lemon, but your kind of typical lager smell is just creeping through there. Let's get stuck into this. I have reviewed this before. I've put it on the channel before, and that is a world of difference. That tastes like a Spanish beer should taste like, albeit it's basic, it's functional. A cold one of those on a very hot day is exactly what you want. And considering for the equivalent measure, that's £1.10 cheaper, that should be the other way round, comfortably. That tastes cheap. This does not. especially after drinking that filth. It's just really, really lovely. You get a nice touch of lemon, kind of like almost lime coming through on the flavour. Just everything about it is really well balanced. You'll note from the glass as well, the lacing on it, which shows it's decent quality. This has got lacing on it, and I don't know, well, all of a sudden it doesn't look as appetizing to me, but that's because I've tasted the damn stuff. So, finally, Aldi Grande. Again, it looks almost identical to the Lidl one, and it doesn't look that different to Madri. Let's see what we get from this. My word, that smells almost exactly the same. Now, when I did, because I've had both of these, and I thought, because I drank them separately on separate days, I thought that this one had more flavour about it. However, I've had a few colds over the winter and stuff, and COVID, and who knows, maybe my taste buds were out at the time. Let's see what we're going to get from the Aldi Grande. It's very, very close to the Lidl, but it hasn't got as much flavour. It tastes a little bit watery. If you put 3 ice cubes in that and let them melt, that's what that tastes like. It has a really nice bit of kind of like almost honey lemon up front, but then it just becomes a little bit washy. But it finishes off nice and dry and bitter. I'm going to have to try this again. I think you know which way I'm heading between my favourite two. My word, that's tough. Definitely, I wasn't imagining things. I think that's the best one. That I would mark 7 out of 10. That is 6 out of 10. That, considering the price, considering the bits that I don't like about it, I'm giving that 3 out of 10. If Madri's in the offing, I try and avoid it. And I haven't been wrong. I've not been wrong. So I had a very kind post because I put up that I was going to be reviewing these, and someone kindly put in that they reckoned Grande was going to be the best of the 3. But for me, it isn't. It's Sabre from Lidl. For $4.99 for 4 of those. Authentic Spanish brewed beer is very good value. It represents really good value in terms of you're getting 2 litres of beer because it's a 500ml can. So 2 litres of Spanish beer that you would gladly be served in Spain. Yeah, Sabre for me. But Grande, quite happily drink that if someone offered it to me. I will show you what I'm going to do with the Madri. It's pretty dark, so I don't know how well you can see this, but I am currently stood outside my van, and here is my lawn. Goodbye, Madri.